Help me hit 7,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. I never imagined that one day I would be standing in the middle of my daughter's sweet 16, holding a secret I had carried for years, ready to drop it like a bomb and walk away from everything I thought I knew about my life. My name is Marcus, I'm 45, and for 16 years, I lived what everyone called the perfect family life. Evelyn, my wife, had always seemed perfect, charming, radiant, full of warmth. She was the kind of woman you saw in movies and felt lucky to have. We met at a bookstore when I was 29. She laughed at my terrible jokes, admired my work ethic, and somehow, I thought she loved me as much as I loved her. We got married after 3 years of dating. Those first years were blissful, filled with weekend trips, late-night talks, and small routines that made a home feel alive. We had 2 beautiful kids, Clara and Jamie. People would comment on how close our family was, how grounded we were. I was proud, even though I worked long hours and tried to provide as much stability as possible. Evelyn managed the house, organized our lives, and always made sure we were presentable. Then, slowly, almost imperceptibly, things began to change. At first, it was subtle. A text left unanswered, a longer time at work, little excuses that didn't quite make sense. I noticed her checking her phone at odd hours, suddenly protective of her privacy. She'd laugh a little less, smile a little less, and the warmth that had defined her for years was replaced by a quiet distance I couldn't explain. I tried talking to her gently, softly, but she would smile, shrug, and say she was just busy or stressed. And I believed her. For years. Sometimes I think about how cleverly it all was hidden. My family, people I trusted the most, seemed complicit or at least blind. Birthdays, anniversaries, school events, every family gathering. They all played their part in keeping me in a bubble of ignorance. My mother, Evelyn's mother, even our closest friends, all somehow knew, and no one said a word. It wasn't just betrayal. It was a conspiracy of silence that made me feel sane, safe, and oblivious. I never suspected anything until one day. A casual conversation at Clara's school opened a crack in the wall. One of the teachers mentioned a student, older, charismatic, charming, who shared a last name I recognized but hadn't connected before. It seemed Evelyn's affair had begun even before Clara was born. My heart froze. Everything, every shared laugh, every whispered promise, every late-night cuddle, was a carefully painted mask over 16 years of lies. I tried to confront Evelyn once, cautiously. I wanted proof, but she had always been careful, meticulous. Texts disappeared, excuses were airtight, and any trail led nowhere. I began to feel like I was living in a life carefully scripted by someone else. And then, finally, last month, I hired a private investigator, someone who could give me undeniable evidence. That's when I learned the full extent. Not just the affair, but that my daughter Clara was not biologically mine. My world collapsed, but I forced myself to think clearly. I needed to protect her from shock, yes, but I also needed justice. It was the night of her sweet 16. The house was buzzing with friends, music, laughter, and the kind of joy that made a parent's chest swell with pride. Evelyn, radiant as ever in a silver dress, laughed among the crowd, oblivious to the storm I carried within me. I held a small envelope in my hand. Inside it, the DNA report that proved what I had long suspected. This is where I need you to pause for a moment. If you're watching this story unfold, I'd encourage you to like and share it. Stories like these need to reach others, so they understand the fragile, deceptive layers of trust in relationships. Boldly share this story with those who need to hear it. I walked toward the cake table where Clara was surrounded by friends, smiling, glowing with happiness. The crowd barely noticed me until I cleared my throat. I held up the envelope, my hand steady, my voice calm but carrying weight. There's something important you all need to know. Everyone's eyes turned to me. Friends, family, even Evelyn. She smiled nervously, unsure what I was about to do. I opened the envelope slowly, letting the silence stretch. I read the results aloud, the words echoing in the room. The DNA test confirmed what I had feared. Clara was not my daughter. The room froze. The music stopped. Evelyn's face went pale, and for the first time in years, I saw fear replace her practiced charm. At that moment, I felt a strange mix of relief and devastation. Relief because the truth was finally out. Devastation because of the life that had been built on lies. I looked at Clara, not at Evelyn, and she seemed confused, scared. I swallowed the urge to yell, to scream, to crumble. I simply said, "I love you, Clara. Nothing changes that." Then I turned and walked out. If you've ever faced betrayal or deception, comment below what you would do in my place. Your thoughts might help others navigate similar situations. Your words could spark a discussion that matters. The hallway outside the party felt surreal. Music muffled, laughter distant, and the weight of 16 years pressing down on me. I didn't run, I didn't panic. I just walked, letting the truth settle in my mind. Evelyn's footsteps echoed behind me, hesitant, unsure, but I didn't turn. Not yet. I needed clarity, not confrontation. When she finally caught up, her voice trembled, soft but demanding. "Marcus, wait. Let's talk. Please." I turned, really looked at her for the first time in years, and saw the person she had become. The charm replaced by panic, the confidence replaced by guilt. I said nothing at first, letting the silence speak. Sometimes silence says more than words ever could. You were hiding this for 16 years. I said finally, my voice calm, almost detached. And my family knew. Everyone knew. How could you let me live this lie? Her eyes welled up, but she had no words. Just the quiet shame that comes from being caught in a truth too big to deny. The betrayal was personal, but it was also practical. I had supported this household, worked hard to give Evelyn and our kids a stable life, trusted her with everything. And in return, lies hidden behind smiles, holidays, birthday cakes, and promises. Everything that had felt real wasn't. I didn't scream, I didn't hit her. I simply handed her the DNA report. "This proves what I already knew," I said softly, the weight of 16 years in my tone. "You've taken more than just my trust. You've taken my identity as a father from me." She reached for it, shaking, but I pulled back slightly. It was important she saw that actions have consequences. Clara, standing at the edge of the room, looked up at me with confusion and fear. I knelt down, keeping my tone gentle. "Clara, I know this is hard. None of this is your fault. You are loved more than anything, and nothing changes that." Her tiny hand slipped into mine, and I realized that while Evelyn had betrayed me, my responsibility to my children hadn't changed. At this moment, I want you to take a pause and comment below your thoughts. Imagine discovering something hidden for 16 years. What would you do? Your experiences and reflections could spark a discussion that others may relate to deeply. Evelyn's mother appeared suddenly, a mixture of shock and guilt on her face. "Marcus, please, you don't understand." I interrupted gently but firmly. "No, I understand perfectly. You all conspired to hide this, and you failed. You all failed to protect the truth, and now you must live with the consequences." I realized then that betrayal isn't just one person's act. It can ripple through an entire family when lies are allowed to fester. I walked back into the party, holding Clara close, letting her see that life could continue even after such a revelation. Friends were whispering, some staring, some avoiding eye contact. Evelyn tried to follow, pleading, but I shook my head. Some things can't be explained. Some trust can't be rebuilt. The DNA report was my way of reclaiming honesty, and I wasn't going to let anyone interfere with that. Here's another important moment. If you're finding this story compelling, take a moment to like and share it with people who need to hear it. Real-life stories like this remind us of the fragility of trust and the importance of truth. Every share helps this story reach others navigating hidden betrayals. Later, when the initial shock had passed, I sat Clara down privately. I explained gently what had happened, choosing my words carefully so she understood she was loved and safe. She asked questions, the innocent curiosity of a child who suddenly sees her world shift. I answered honestly, without anger, without blame. I wanted her to see strength in truth, not bitterness in betrayal. Evelyn finally cornered me later, tears streaming. Marcus, I made a mistake. I love you and I'm sorry. I looked at her with a calm clarity I hadn't felt in years. Apologies are words, Evelyn. For 16 years, I lived a lie you chose to perpetuate. There's nothing left to fix here. You had the chance to be honest. You didn't. By the end of the night, the house was empty, the party over, the laughter gone. I held Clara close, watching her sleep, realizing that life could continue. I didn't need Evelyn's approval, her affection, or her apologies. I had reclaimed the truth, reclaimed my identity, and most importantly, I had shown my daughter what honesty and integrity looked like. Please comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more real-life stories like this. Ask yourself, how would you handle betrayal hidden for so long? Share your perspective, discuss with others, and become part of a community that learns from real experiences. Every comment and subscription supports storytelling that resonates deeply with human emotions. Walking away that night, I felt something I hadn't in years. Peace. Not because I had destroyed a life, but because I had reclaimed mine. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need drama. I needed truth, and truth had been delivered, finally and unmistakably. The house was quiet, Clara safe, and for the first time in 16 years, I slept knowing that honesty had prevailed. And as for Evelyn, that's a story for another time. What mattered that night was my daughter, my integrity, and the knowledge that sometimes walking away is the only path to real freedom.